Hashima Island is arguably the most famous abandoned location on Earth, a decaying concrete skyline rising violently out of the ocean off the coast of Nagasaki. Looking at this photograph of smiling residents on a rooftop in the mid-20th century, you get a sense of how densely packed Hashima once was. Before its coal mines shut down in the 1970s, this tiny fortress held the highest population density ever recorded. In 2013, an urban exploration team, consisting of a structural engineer, a historian, and 2 documentary filmmakers, arrived with official permission to survey the island's designated safe zones. The true hazard of Hashima lies far beyond its crumbling concrete and rusted rebar. The real danger exists at the invisible boundary separating the heavily documented safe zones from the unmapped, restricted interior. Look closely at the broken, debris-filled interior of this restricted schoolroom. As the team pushed past the rusted warning barriers into these severely deteriorated residential blocks, the environment rapidly degraded. The relentless coastal wind that batters the perimeter of the island completely died down. Between the high concrete walls, the air grew unnaturally still. They had walked into an acoustic dead zone. Rather than bouncing off the hard surfaces, the sounds of their footsteps and conversations were absorbed by the surrounding air. In a landscape of hard concrete, sound should reverberate. This total suppression of noise suggested a localized deviation from physical norms, effectively isolating the team from the world outside. The absolute silence was broken by a faint, uneven metallic tapping. It echoed from deeper within the unmapped corridors, drawing the team further inside. When the photographer, Ryan, took a picture down a pitch-black hallway, the camera captured this digital image. The physical space directly in front of them appeared completely empty to the naked eye, but the viewing screen clearly showed a shadowy, human-like shape standing at the far end. Taking a second photograph, the terrifying details sharpened. The figure possessed thin, heavily elongated limbs, an obscured, featureless face, and a head tilted at a sharp, unnatural angle. The camera's digital sensor was picking up light frequencies and physical shapes that the human optical spectrum simply could not register. These digital sensors were documenting physical presences that remained masked to the human eye by a localized distortion. The sensation of being watched quickly became overwhelming, prompting the team to immediately abandon the expedition and turn back toward the entrance. This top-down diagram demonstrates how the layout actively changed against them. Corridors leading outside extended into impossibly long pathways, open doors firmly shut. The structural engineer checked his mental map, but his spatial memory failed to align with the shifting geometric maze. Raising his camera again, Ryan realized the live feed was operating on a slight delay. The screen showed the faceless figure actively stepping closer to them, while the real hallway directly in their line of sight remained completely bare. The island itself had become the antagonist. It was using active spatial manipulation to disorient the team, systematically cutting off their only known escape route. Without warning, the team's flashlights flickered and died. In that brief window of darkness, the entity crossed from a digital phantom into full physical visibility, a tall, faceless shape with violently bent limbs standing right in front of them. Panic set in. The team sprinted blindly through the twisted corridors as the slow metallic tapping escalated into a chaotic, rapid frenzy surrounding them from all sides. Ryan's foot caught on a pile of debris, sending him crashing to the floor. Before he could recover, an unseen, forceful grip dragged him backward into the pitch-black shadows of a side corridor, cutting his scream completely short. The surviving 3 members burst out through the collapsed entrance into the open air. The wind immediately returned. The normal sounds of the ocean washed over them, and the fixed architecture solidified. The laws of reality resumed only after the trap had claimed a victim. This photograph captures the static, ordinary foundations the authorities found when they returned to investigate. The restricted block showed no structural anomalies, no shifting corridors, and absolutely no trace of Ryan. The only evidence left behind was the final moments of footage recovered from Ryan's dropped camera, which lay abandoned on the concrete floor. The sideways recording showed the original entity standing motionless, watching the survivors flee. Then, multiple identical figures slowly emerged from the gloom, standing shoulder to shoulder in the silence. Hashima remains a waiting habitat, permanently occupied by tenants, residing just outside the limits of human perception.